Okay, are we ready? Okay, so you guys will be on TV just now. So it's going to be fun. So welcome again to ULP. It's really good to have you guys. Did you greet somebody that you haven't met today? There you go.
Thank you very much. Welcome to ULP Authors Forum on this very chilly, cold day. Let me give you a round of applause because you've braved a very winter cold. And the winter these days is, climate change is real serious because there's rain that is going on while it is winter. And so it's wonderful. I see a lot of familiar faces, very well-known people who've come to ULP. Great to see you. Great to see. I can see Gideon from all the way from Brakpan, Uni Drive. So well done. See people from all over the country. I can see. How are you, man? And well done, well done. It's good to see you, all of you. This is a program I really like. ULP has got a number of programs. ULP is 13 years old now, so it's a number of programs. Got ULP Governance, ULP Conversation, ULP Moms now. I want to just invite you. At the end, Thabo will tell you about what's happening there. Women in Energy. We've got a number of programs, but this one excites me. That's why I'm always here on this one, because this is about writing our own stories. And I repeat all the time, as Africans, we've always been having oral culture, and we've told our stories. But if I can even start just here, if I start telling a story to Thabo, and then he tells, and then it starts. By the time it arrives to you, there it would have broken the meaning, you know. And so, can you imagine if you take it from one generation to another? So, what we are here is to encourage the culture of writing, and so each one of us has got a story to tell, and that's why I get excited to be part of this historical moment, because by the time we finish this ULP program, we would have written, I would say, thousands of books. And my grandchildren and your grandchildren and grandchildren will be reading our stories instead of reading stories about Europe and America, and that is what influenced them. But today I'd like to introduce Thabo T. And when he was telling to me the story that he was part of that new cohort of YFM, it reminded me of my age. You know, I remember when YFM busted into, we were the youth of that time. And so great that you've been here. Let me tell you about him. He's revered as a man with a magic behind the microphone. Those who have listened to him, Thabo T. Mokwele has been blessed with business acumen, and he's really also a philanthropy, and this is really what I like. And he's got a glorious gift of the gab. He can speak. I can tell you now. I spent just about half an hour with him, and I was listening. But very insightful stories that he's been telling me. And he's been in the radio for over 2 decades, almost 3 decades, 30 years in radio. So that's a wonderful experience. Why don't you clap hands for that? One of the very strong values that we really advocate here at ULP is focus, 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 focus. Because if you focus, you're able to achieve a lot in life. But if you're not focusing and you're all over the place, you're directionless, and you're not going to achieve a lot in life. And I promise you, I interview people a lot. I check their CVs. If your CV is all over the place, one year you're working here, the next year you're working here, the next year. And I look at we call it a checkered career. You don't want to be a checkered career. And this man has been a radio man for over 3 decades. I'm inspired by that. After 2 years, he became the best wake-up call with his breakfast show on Metro. And this is a South African personality who has contributed greatly to redefining radio in South Africa. This is what I like. What we also emphasize in here in ULP is that you don't work only just for your own organization or for your own company. You must impact the industry. And he's impacted the industry of radio. He and I were talking about it earlier on in the holding room, and I was saying, you know, when the advent of internet, social media, and all the things, I thought radio is going to be something of the past. But radio has just survived, yeah? Survived everything. I mean, I'm long enough to know that there was a fax machine, and it's gone now. There was cassette players, and there's videos, but radio has been around, and it's survived, and he'll tell you why it is. This headliner, with a heart, he has been recognized as a role model to whom his audience can relate and aspire. T-bose is a very passionate speaker and self-development practitioner, and his immense popularity has deemed him as one of the most prominent speakers elected to address all groups, all gender and orientation on a wide spectrum of issues. Wide spectrum, I can tell you now. If you've got marital problems, you can sort your adults. But what I like is that this is a learned man. That's what I always encourage here at ULP. T-bose holds a Masters of Management in Strategic Strategic Marketing. Let me repeat this because it's important for me. A Masters of Management in Strategic Marketing. Where? Can you guess? Guess. That's business school. Clap hands for that. And then he holds other diplomas, from UNISA, and then and School of Business Leadership and National Diploma in TUT. I'm marketing. Well, thank you very much. What I really like is that, again, at ULP, we emphasize people go and study. I've been saying this for the last 10 years. I'm so pleased that at business schools there, I meet people. I said, I'm also a ULP member. I said, wow, that's great. So there's a lot of people who have resorted to studying now. So that's what we encourage here. So, and I'm very pleased that we to do that. Magnitude of success under his belt, yet this entrepreneur, award-winning broadcaster, businessman, philanthropist, he's also a husband. And he's got a wife and a father. What you're missing now, both, is to be a grandfather. That's a joy. He's written this book called Pause. And pause means just pause and just check. I don't want to spoil it because I like to introduce confidence. His name is Confidence. He is confident. And he started this whole program of ULP Authors Forum. I always tell his story. He came to me and said, listen, I want to be part of this program, but I've got a value proposition to give. And I want to start this program called ULP Authors Forum. And he's been running this program now. This is going for the third year. And I'm telling you, this is one of the most successful programs we have. We're writing books. We generated books. On this bookshelf here, there's every book that you can find. Every great learned person who has written a book has been on this platform. And so why don't you give one doing that once? He also ran the publishing company called Ascension Publisher. It's a good company. Published my book. It's doing very well. So if you want to publish a book, you want to learn, he also ran clinics for aspirant writers. If you want to be a writer, you can learn here through this program. So let's give a round of applause to Confidence. Over to you. Go for it. Thank you, my brother, for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tate. One of my favorite leadership quotes says, example is not one form of leadership. Example is the only form of leadership. And Prof, you live up to that quote. Can we give him a round of applause? And Tate Mokwele.
Sorry.
Mopedo How are you, Tate?
I am good. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Welcome. You've been formally welcomed.
Yes.
So now I get to welcome. I'm going to shoot straight at the bull's eye.
That's right.
Where does the name T-bose come from?
Do you know that every Thabo is a T-bose? Every Thabo. Even the former president. You say T-bose, he will...
T-bose and big.
Yeah. Every Thabo is.
Is it?
Yeah. And obviously it's written in different ways.
Yeah.
And because of the YFM era, it just didn't sound cool, man.
Yeah.
To go on YFM. You say, it's not Asian, man.
Yeah.
It's not funky, you know. So I was like, okay, I'm T-bose. They're like, yeah, but there's so many T-boses. What will set it apart? I was like, okay. Because I deal with sound, and I have love for Bose speakers. And then I put it B-O-S-E for Bose, T-bose.
Wonderful.
That's why T-bose. That's where it comes from.
Okay.
It's actually every Thabo's name, but I wrote it differently, obviously.
So you took something that was general and you made it unique to yourself.
Exactly.
That's a nice lead into the next question I want to ask, because it's about identity. In the book, you say one of the most hardest questions for a person to answer is, who am I? And I'm going to pose that question to you, Ntat.
Hey, as much as I write about it, it's a question I'm afraid to answer, or I shy away, or I run away from, because it's a deep-rooted question. And some people feel, and I feel sometimes, Prof, it's also unfair to ask it in an interview, because who are you? I'm like, I'm on a journey. I'm still trying to find out who am I in this journey.
Yeah.
And I normally say to people, when you meet this question, then answer it in the negative. Because at least the things you are not, you are very aware of. I'm not a thief. Okay. So it becomes clearer.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a process of elimination.
Yeah.
But to put it mildly, who are you is less to do with what you do. It's about the imprint that you hope you live to fulfill, because you came here because there was a space made for you.
Wow.
So when your parents met, Sonini Nkulunkulu said, okay, I know what I'm gonna bring out of this tree, and because there's a space there for this, and then I think this human can play this role there. So who are you? Hence I'm saying it's a journey, because you're trying to find your role and space in society. And in my journey, I have found that in everything I do, according to my capabilities, I fail. But in everything I do, because of my passion and drive, I succeed. Which goes back to the definition of career, which I received when I was doing my matric. They asked us, what is a career? And then we threw all these answers. And until the facilitator said, a career is something you don't mind doing 24 hours a day. Even when they pay you for it, you want to laugh at them because you don't mind doing it. And I was like, wait a minute. Everything I do, I'm a chemical engineer by training. I worked for a year. I was not inspired. I was dragging my feet to work. I did my marketing. I even opened up a change management consultancy. It didn't come natural as being on air.
Yeah.
It comes naturally to me. They want to pay me for it. I laugh every day. You want to pay me to do what? To come and talk. Really? And do what? And play music. Are you for real? Are you for real? For how long? For 3 hours a day? Are you for real? Wow, serious? Yeah, how much? You know? Like, hey, banna.
Yeah.
And then it hits you. Oh, damn it. That's why I'm here.
That space.
That's why I'm here.
Wow. Powerful.
And then it makes sense why I'm never tired of listening to music, exploring music. Or is that why I'm curious about people? Because after today, how many topics are going to come from this room, from my show? Hey, my man, wait. Because I'm curious about people.
Yeah.
Professor, I already have 3 topics out of Prof alone.
Yeah.
From our 30-minute talk. And because I'm that way wired. Who am I? I'm a platform to give to others, to be for others. Why? Because it's important that we talk, learn, unlearn, explore, but most importantly, accept the other.
I love that. There's so much out of it. Was a meaty answer.
I'm here to give you meat. Yeah.
The world tells us that you need to go 110%, go for your dreams. sleep 4 hours, work for 20 hours. You are telling us to pause. Why?
You know what pause is in Zulu? In Zulu? Man. Kaspedi, or
Yes, sir.
slow down. We are in such a pace, man. We are running, especially as city people. Running. Should I ask you, where did you make a wrong turn? Chances are you wouldn't answer me. Right? But should I say, what is the biggest mistake you've made? You'll probably go to it because you still feel its pain. And I then zoom in on that mistake and say, was the decision wrong at the time? You're like, I feel it was wrong. And I say to you, would you be where you are now? Had you made the right decision then? The answer will be no. Why? Because I learned something from that mistake. Did you ever pause and take that and be kind to yourself and say, wait a minute, I may have miscalculated, I may have been impatient, I may have missed that opportunity. But maybe that's why I had to miss it. You'll never come to that realization. You'll never come to your own wisdom if you never really pause and say, hey, man, why is it in there? Because it's about the next one. If not this, the next one. Anxiety, depression, anger, so many of our emotional ills come from a point where we never really take stock of how far we come to be where we are now.
Guys, I want you to prepare questions. I know they're bubbling up as we're having the conversation. Also for the audience online, if you have questions, please note them on our YouTube page, Facebook page, and then we'll address them. You've touched on the next topic I wanted to discuss, topic of mental health. And when you talk of suicide as well, the interesting thing is that it's not just people living in shacks that are committing suicide. There are people living in mansions. And as a society, as young people as well, we've been taught that chase the Rolls Royce, chase the big mansion, you will find that happiness. But the same people who have those things are the ones who are overdosing on drugs, who are putting 9mm into their mouths. How do we get to that place? Because you speak about that happiness and mental health in the book. Tell us.
Number one, you are not chasing happiness, you are chasing success. Happiness is a state that you live in. You achieve it, it fleets. You chase it again, you get it, it comes and goes. It's emotion. Contentment, now that's different. Are you content with the choices you have made? Are you? And if you are, can you sleep at night? Yes, okay. Regardless of you have a duvet, regardless of whether you have a heated blanket, can you sleep at night? Can you sleep at night knowing that all you had was 2 slices of bread with peanut butter, but they taste like gold because you had them with your loved ones? Now that's different. Success. The problem starts with success. Success has been defined in financial terms. And we've taken that one-dimension look of success. I talk about it in the book. There are 7 definitions of success. You can be successful financially and fail to be successful with relationships. You can be successful with relationships, but fail to be successful with money. You can be successful with relationships and money, but fail to be successful with your health. Fail to be successful with your education. Fail to be successful with your mental wealth, your what you give to your head, your vocation. right? Fail to be successful with your faith. Whether you believe it in God or not, at the end of the day, you are a spiritual being, you believe in something. You can fail at that. So my question is, of all the 7, which one drives you? Which one centers you? I work hard, and my wife will tell you, I will never sleep until she instructs me to. Why? Because for me, success is when my family is comfortable. So it starts there. But what governs that? It governs from a point of view that I venerate God. I don't fear God, I venerate God. In everything I do, I'm where I am because God's hand is above me all the time. He's guiding my steps all the time. Sometimes I don't even like it, but He's guiding my steps all the time. The people I want to be friends with don't want to be friends with me. You understand what I'm saying? I choose people, and I'm like, but it should be so cool to be there. He's like, no, I want you alone. Right? So I'm grounded first by that. 2, my family is the reason I do what I do. Every single day. I don't care whether I'm sick or not, I'll work. Right? And then health comes up. But if you're not healthy, you're not going to be sustaining this thing. What are you going to do to sustain this thing? Oh, okay. Maybe then let me structure my day this way. Before anything else I do in the day, let me start with gym. So I wake up 5 in the morning, 6 o'clock I'm in the gym, 7:30 I'm at work. So gym, done. But do you know that gym, like happiness, is also fleeting? In winter it's harder to wake up 5 in the morning. So you need a motivation for that. So you see, I'm telling you, it's a journey, this thing. So how do I keep myself motivated to do gym? Oh, Mokwele, you like clothes. Because you like clothes, how about you wear the same size for the rest of your life? You see what I'm doing now? Yeah. So it means whatever I'm doing at the gym, I'm not chasing a six-pack. No. I'm chasing vitality. Now, that's different. Vitality being I'm able to do things I want to do. Yeah. Right? And I can still wear the same shirt I wore 3 years ago. That becomes then my motivation. Then I keep doing it. Right? Finances. Yeah. This money is coming in. It's going to things, man. It's not sticking around. What do I do? Right? Do we huddle up with the wife and find maybe a financial planner or a financial coach so that we can make sure this money sustains us? Because there are areas in your life you are blinded, you have blind spots on. Seek advice. Let them show you how to do it. And a simple advice came from a book. And I didn't even read that book cover to cover. And that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. Where you open a book and then boom, this thing, it says pay yourself first. This thing, you cannot go exclusive books when you don't know what you're doing and you're just, scrummaging. And this thing says pay yourself first. Pay myself first. And I read. It says when you get a salary, don't let it sit in the bank and then wait for debit orders. Take at least 10% and pay yourself first. That's yours. The rest can go to responsibilities. Say, hey, Mfaz, hey, wait. I think we have something here.
Yeah.
And we started doing that. So she'll have it there, I'll have it there. But you see, that's the finance side. Yes, let's come to career. If you are with someone, and I'll speak this thing forward. If you're with someone, remember you met as individuals, that's why you were attracted to them in the first place. How do you keep them interesting? Is when you develop, they must develop. When I did my master's, my wife was doing her honors. Vets still. And when I qualified, I said to her, I'm not going to hang my master's degree on the wall until you get yours. She was like, pressure. She got hers. And the next day, I made copies and I plugged them on the wall. It says, oh, you kept your word. Now the challenge is PhD. Why? The more I improve, she improves. We both grow. We're helping each other grow. Career is not about just you rising in the echelons of a company. It's also growing career-wise, even in the household. So, I think Bonang Mohale said it best. Lift as you rise. And that's a powerful philosophy to live by. And you can use the very same example to other aspects of life as well. Right? Your mental health. Your mental health says, whatever is aggrieving you, speak about it. But did you create an environment? Did you create an environment? I'm a father. Did I create an environment for my sons to speak to me openly? Or am I still going to go and say, Tina's kuliswanga kanje. You're not going to bring a girl home. But no, wait a minute, this is a different time. How much of what he's doing challenges me to a point that I need to have a new model to govern that, so that there's healthy conversations that happens. Because mental health comes from unspoken words.
Just on that, you've touched on a topic. I heard you speak at a seminar last year, and in the book you talk a lot about your father and fatherhood. And because you've touched on it, I want us to latch on it a little bit. You say, be better than your father.
Yeah.
Explain that, both from a general but also personal point of view.
It's a chapter in the book, Be Better Than Your Father. Our parents are nothing but a platform. They are a springboard from which we jump from. So if your parents started you from that level, not this level, that's your level, right? Yeah. That's the best they can do. You can only do your best. Your job is to jump to this level. Yeah. And should you reach this level and have children, your job is to make sure that you inspire your kids to jump to this table, and so forth and so forth. That's how you break generational cycles. Now, your father had a house. He put big windows and electricity, but couldn't put an electric fence. Your next level for you is like, okay, I'm going to build a house with big windows, maybe 2 floors, plus an electric fence. It sounds trivial and small. You are doing better. On a personal level, my father being of his generation, he was never warm and welcoming, strict. We started being close and cozy only after I got married because yeah. And we started having man-to-man talks. And I remember saying to him, we should have had this conversation way before I got married. It's a bit too late now. And then he watched me with my sons, how as I will walk in, they will run. One will grab this leg, and all of them, speaking over each other, want to tell me how their day was. And I'll drop everything and sit down and I'll give them attention. He's there. I haven't even greeted him well to say, hey, Baba, Khoshi, Torela, Tlu. I haven't. But I'm giving these guys attention. Yeah. And then they're happy. They had their glass of water, they're happy. Then they leave. He looks at me and then he shakes his head this particular day. He says, you're the father I wanted to be. So sometimes when you are doing better than your father, you're not only just doing it for yourself, you're also teaching and healing the one before you. Because they too didn't know better.
That's powerful. Yeah. I wanna stick on this topic just a little bit longer. We recently had Mother's Day, and there was fanfare all over social media. It was pink and white. Father's Day is coming. And the tone somehow is it's always a little bit different for Father's Day, which says to me we need to do better. Can you talk to us as this generation? Because I think there's a lot of us who are repeating the mistakes of the previous generation. There's a story you tell in the book about the young man who impregnated the girl. Maybe use that as a reference, but I want you to talk to us as young fathers, potential fathers, who are, some of us are running.
The story you're referring to is about, you still buy the book, ne? It's a young man who basically in varsity, bright, A student, and this girl is interested in him. He takes advantage of it, obviously. Cute thing. Unfortunately, she falls pregnant, and obviously she must leave school. He denies the child, denies the pregnancy. He goes to varsity, becomes a celebrated engineer. One of the weekends, he decides, I'm not going to work on Friday. I'm going to go home, spend the day. Long story short, as he's driving into the village, admiring what he left behind, gone. His mind is wandering now. And there's a chain of children crossing the street. School is out. Only 100 meters, he sees them. And then he's trying to hit the brakes. Inertia says, I'm going. And he swerves only to hit the child right at the end of the queue. And he comes out rushing to try and resuscitate this body. The boy is gone. And then he hears the cry from the other side of the road. He looks up, is the woman he denied. So who is this child? Lesson. There are no shortcuts, eh? You must face your music. I was a father at 17. In my matric year, I was a father. Standard 9, me and this classmate, we decide, lunch at your house.
Bonjour.
Khanti. My matric year, obviously she can't continue back then. She couldn't continue. At 17, I'm a father. But there's something in me that says, whatever you have done, you must face it. And that's the upbringing I had. I had to face that lie and call my father. And I begged him not to send me to Isando to go work. Because at least my grades were talking for me. So they took over for me. You must face your music. Yeah. My son, turning 32 this year. Industrial engineer. He went to Cape Peninsula. He did his in-service training in Beijing at a BMW plant. He was responsible for the 3 services here in Roslyn. And he's a man now. He can do whatever he wants to do. He's traveled, he's all of that. Face your music. You never know the favor God will bestow upon you. So coming back to the Father's Day thing, the image of fatherhood is fast changing. We must also give ourselves a benefit. But we need mothers to help us. In my house, I don't have to stress about Father's Day because she makes sure it's important. And that is inspired by the fact that I am a present father. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. So I also talk about submission in the book. That it's easy for a man to require it as if it's an automatic. You need to inspire it first. Do the work. You'll see, you'll then reap the benefits. So Father's Day in 10 years will be different. Why? Because we have Bo Bongani Luvalo, cool dads, who are saying it's fashionable to be a great dad. It's fashionable to be out le majita. Have you seen it? Go to Kawash. Majita ba sore bana ba bona. Ha ona banyana mole.
Yeah.
Ke bona le di prime ke bana mole. You're like, hey, bafethu. Serious, but hey, whoa. Yeah. This is our thing.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that is fast changing.
Awesome. Speaking of fast changing, in generations past, the roles of men and women were very blunt. It was Monna goes to work, provides for the household, looks after the kids, traditional roles. Today, you have women empowerment. The lady may be making 5 times what the man is making. And now the traditional perspective of man is provider is being challenged. In the book, you say we need to redefine what providing means. Can you take us through that?
Kana, what is tradition? Tradition is something we decide as the current generation that this is how we're going to do things. So when we're saying tradition dictates, wait a minute, for whose generation? For which generation? The current generation says women emancipation is the order of the day. There are more opportunities given to her than you will ever receive. Are you then going to sit back and say, oh, but I'm still in daughter. She must come back and cook when she can be CEO? What are you saying? What are you saying? Are you saying you're going to lose your zip because you had to change a nappy? Because you had to cook and bath your kids, and put them to bed. And then you wonder why Father's Day is not popular? Yeah. Nothing like a hands-on dad.
Yeah.
Nothing like a man whose masculinity is so strong that roles don't shake what role he can play.
Oh, powerful. Powerful. You quote Gayton McKenzie, who said, people want to be on the 5th floor, but they do not want to take the stairs. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about doing the time.
You need to do the time. Like I said, there are no shortcuts. I love Gayton's encapsulation of the journey. Everybody wants $1 million or whatever they want. But no one is really willing to work. If there's a shortcut, they'll take it. Right? Yeah. And I'm like, that shortcut is going to come back and bite you, Papa.
Zondo commission.
Uh-huh. Today, people are drinking dirty water. Mm-hmm. And we know why. Yeah. Shortcuts. Yes. Right? Yeah. Do the time. The wisdom in walking up those stairs is beyond you. It is for you, though. Because how many of you play video games? Do you play video games? Even those who don't, there's no way you'll be in level 1, right? And skip level 1 and make it in level 2. Yeah. There's something you need to collect in level 1 for you to make it in level 2. And so on and so forth. Yeah. So if you're going to cut the corners, when the wisdom that you should have acquired in level 1, 2, 3, and 4, so you can apply it in 5, arrives at you, are you going to be able to pass the test? No, you won't be, because you don't have it. Yeah. It's as simple as trying to say somebody must study for you. but you must pass the test, pass the exam. Duh. Okay, you can doctor it. They can mask and do whatever, and they sit and write for you. And then sit with Prof. Here's your CV. What do you know? That's level. You see, now that's level 5. Yeah. Execution.
Yeah.
It's important to do the time.
Yeah.
There's nothing like knowing that you've given it your all. Man. Have you ever failed a test, but you know you gave it your all? Even your parents, they can't say, I was wafa, because they see your face. Or no, but I give a chance.
Yeah. Wow. One of my favorite quotes says, commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the mood you said it in has left you. And there's a statement you make in the book, which I love. It says, if you commit, you must submit. That captured me.
Yeah.
Delve into that.
Yeah, if you commit, you must submit. While I'm on campus studying, radio is my extramural activity. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. And for any guy who's on a campus radio station or community radio station, they want to be on a commercial radio station. The bigger platform. It's like being Gomvela League. Everybody wants to be in PSL. I get a call from Radio Bob saying, hey, Mona, there's an availability here. You can do a show. It's a graveyard, midnight to 3 in the morning. Yeah. You get paid. They'll give you a flat to stay. You're sorted. But I'm in the middle of my studies. How do I do that? So it means I'm not going to finish this degree because I'm going to work. And I know, had I come to my parents and told them this, they would have supported me. Parents are parents. They love you like that. They will. But I was like, I can't. If you commit, you must submit. See it through. And I said no to that offer. Guess what? Had I said yes, had I blamed myself for not taking it, would have YFM happened? Huh? No.
There's a scripture you quote from Romans 8:28.
Yes.
All things
happen for the good of those who believe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess it's like what Steve Jobs said. Sometimes it makes sense looking back. So there are many young people in the room, and I think you've touched on it, but I want us to go a little bit deeper. The question of purpose. Because I believe a lot of the reasons why so many young people have gone wayward, I mean, going back to the Bible, where there's no vision, the people
Can I pause you for a toilet break?
Pause.
Toilet break, ne?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can I have a toilet break?
Yeah. It's right there.
Because I can't over short change.
Oh, no problem. All right. While Mr. Mokwele is in the bathroom, prepare your questions, because in the next 2-3 questions, we're going to go to you guys straight. Are you enjoying the conversation?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, you were saying?
All right. Nerishapile pause, Nerishapa play. So there's a lot of young people in the group, in the audience, and I know it's a question that we grapple with as young people, because I believe a lot of the problems that we face can be solved by us finding our space, finding where we fit, because then we won't meander, we won't go. You know, as the Bible says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Can you take us through? Can you guide us in terms of how do we find that space in the world, the space that belongs to us, that question of purpose?
Yeah, look, I wish there was a quick answer. Otherwise, there will be one book, and that will be a bestseller. Because we are all in a journey. And our journey, more than anything, is defined by where we come from, how we were raised, and by whom we were raised. But there's a voice lingering inside of you. And that voice, unfortunately, you are told and even socialized to dumb it down. Some say it's the sweetest voice you'll ever hear. Have you ever been in a situation where you don't know what to do? And funny enough, it happens just when your anger comes down or your frustration comes down. And you're sitting all alone and you're asking a question to yourself. And something says something to you at that moment, but this thing doesn't, the answer is too simple, man. I don't know if that has ever happened to you. Actually, it should happen to you. You have it. We all have a GPS in us that immediately whispers something to you. You're mad, you're angry, and it says, just say sorry. Like, Tumuto? This one. Yeah. And now you start arguing with it, right? But deep down it's like, nah, man. Who was that? Should you be brave enough to stand up and face the very person who has harmed you, and you are saying sorry to them based on the advice of that voice? Who's more brave in this world? It's you. Yeah. Purpose is the same thing. Purpose is not knowing whether to turn left or right, and at that moment you pause and you say, I don't know what to do. I love what I do, but I'm getting this offer. I need this money. And your voice says, stay. But I need this money. Stay. It's going to be difficult to explain it to the next person, right? Because it doesn't make sense. No. Right? There are faculties of that decision trying to help you doesn't make sense with the decision you have come to. That's why it's so unique to you. Yeah. It's important to do that. Spend time with yourself. One of the things I do, I have solo lunches. And a solo lunch doesn't have to be expensive. A solo lunch could actually be a glass of juice. You go McDonald's, only one. Yeah. And you're sipping it slowly. No headphones, nothing disturbing you, quiet. Maybe your sunglasses here so that people can't see what's going on. Because sometimes it can hit you and you can cry. Spend time alone. It's fine. Take a walk alone. Yeah. There's some clarity that will come to you. That's the only tool I can give you. There's no formula to this thing. Only God and the person inside of you knows where you're supposed to be. Yeah. And sometimes that very purpose is sharpened by doing the wrong things. By the wrong things, I don't mean wrong things in terms of social rules and laws. Wrong things being in the wrong course. I'm a chemical engineer, for crying out loud. What does that have to do with radio? But guess what? Who's the most precision? Who's the most disciplined? Who's the most aware of things before they go wrong? At work, they know. We have consultants now trying to steer our ship because we've gone through, as Kaya, we've gone through a little bit of bumps. They don't make a decision until they hear what T-bose has to say. Yeah. T-bose, what do you think? And I started asking, why me? They're like, it's you. I said, well, no, because I'm senior, yeah, okay, sure. But more than anything is the faculties.
Yeah.
Because it starts from, why are you making that decision? What about this? What about that? Scenario planning, all of those things, they then start coming into play. Yeah. Your purpose is beyond you just being able to write it as a mission statement. It's a journey. Allow yourself. Guys, I wish I knew this before I went to varsity. I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it. Has somebody told me this? What I'm trying to get? This thing called life, emunati. Get in the journey. Get in. Yeah. Face it. Yeah. Wherever it throws you, face it. Ask it questions. You know? When you feel like it's throwing you off, ask why. Because there's a lesson in there so that you know. Because it's shaping you. Yeah. Because by the time we talk, Gold.
I'm going to ask for a roving mic. Who's got questions? Pratsepa, I know you always have questions. We'll start with you. Matum, how's it, my brother?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Akalti, for such a great session. I'm a big fan. My questions are, two. The first one is, I was reading your book and you mentioning something, I think you touched based on it, that to be successful, you need to have a balance on all the 7 values that drive us as people. So you also mentioned in the book that is 24 hours enough? Because I wrote the other day and I was telling my lecturer, I think I need 28 hours because I've got a career.
Yeah.
I have to go, I had to cut gym.
Yeah.
But now I'm gaining weight.
Yeah.
And you have to buy clothes.
Yeah.
I think I learned something that
Yeah.
you need to have that balance along. Yeah. So is there a formula for one that they can use to sort of have a balance? Or is 24 hours enough? Let me ask you if 24 hours is enough.
It's not. 24 hours is never enough for somebody who is passionate, who is driven, who knows why they are here. Because for somebody who knows why they are here, they realize there's a lot to do. Right? They know. Yet, within those 24 hours, they are able to say, this I can slot in, this I can do, that I cannot do. Of course, it's about choices. And some choices, obviously, will pain others because, and you'll also feel pain in some of the areas, like you're saying, gym is getting affected, which is awakening you to something. Or maybe you're focusing too much on this, you're letting go of that.
There's no balance.
Yeah, strike a balance. Find a balance. You need to. That's your journey. And do not look at it and thinking you are failing. You're not failing. You are moving. You are moving. So keep moving.
Thank you. My last question. I think you are the only person. It's a bit personal, but I think you also touch based on it in your book. But you also speak about it that you're one person I know who got divorced and they made it way back with their wife. Now you are one of the best couples in the country.
Thank you.
What is it that you can share? I'm rooting for love and looking at the divorce rate in South Africa. I so wish that you can share, if it's a software that you can install both men and women so that they can start winning and let love win. Thank you.
Yeah. Number one, I'll talk to you like, a bigger brother to a younger brother. Right? Don't date your equal. Because that very essence of her makes you feel you must earn her respect. You must earn her time. The problem is people want to be comfortable. Comfort zones. The worst thing that could ever happen to you. Date up. She too, without you knowing, she's dating up. Because you two are raising each other every single time. So there was no question when I was alone and away from her that there's no other. Ceiling. You know how I knew? Because when we were sitting at the SABC, she walked past and as my guitar blown me down. But I'm fun. And boys, when they start doing this, girls, let me tell you, when boys start doing this, it's about Thabo. And I was like, if men are doing this for her, as much as I am attracted to her, it means they don't have the goal to go for her. I'm going. I'm going to face that lioness. And you're a lioness. So I would rather be in a fight with her against the world than have someone who's always weak.
Next question, please.
Good evening. My name is Telo Masugu. I'm a founder of Lifetime Empowerments. Lifetime Empowerments is a social enterprise that creates growth platforms for young entrepreneurs and small business owners. So my question is based on that. You spoke about mental health and you spoke about purpose. My question is about now finding the balance between the two. With the entrepreneurs that we work with, we create your mentorship programs, we have networking events, and far along, some entrepreneurs in the program would fall out. And I also put myself in the same journey as I'm a young entrepreneur myself. I find myself asking myself if what I'm doing is going to pan out in the future, then you don't know where you stand, whether you can commit to this. As you spoke about, if you commit, you have to submit. But sometimes you feel like something is not working. So how do you see that what you are doing is going to work? You have to commit and submit to it, or live like you left engineering and found something else.
Yeah, true.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think it's a journey that we can all share in different aspects of our lives, right? Let me use the example here, the change management consultancy I had. I did my executive development program, EDP, with business school here. And because, only it hit me then why I was doing it, when I started failing in that business. I wanted to feel important. I wanted a title. I wanted to be a CEO of my company. Why? Because every time people say, you work on radio, what else do you do? I was like, but I never interrogated that statement. What else? What? Should I do something else? So I took for granted what I had, in essence, because it felt like it was not enough. Now, maybe after your show, after your job, after your show, yeah, come work with us. Maybe we can use you for business development, plus people know you. So here I am, chasing a title. Do you see now my reason for doing what I'm doing is flawed? So my question to you is, what is the reason behind what you're doing? What is at the core of what you're doing? Is it money? If it is, you're going to fail. Is it helping people? Now, it's something bigger than you. You see what I mean? If it's something bigger than you, trust me, I don't care if the wall of Jericho falls on you now. You will still stand up. Why? Because the mission is bigger than you. So you must ask yourself that question. It's not about the business. It's about you. And again, it's failing because maybe it's teaching you something. Right? Because sometimes we personalize lessons and we lose why they are lessons. What do I mean? And Jay-Z said it best. Jay-Z, love that guy, says, when things happen, they happen for you, not to you. He even went as far as saying, your absent father happened for you, not to you. Stop blaming him. What circumstance and situation are you in right now that is happening for you? Are you learning from it? Are you using it to propel you forward? So you see, you take this thing that happens for you versus why you're doing it. Now, these two, when they collide or they're in the same pot, you won't even be able to explain it to somebody else, but you'll still just keep on pushing. You'll keep opening that laptop, you'll keep on knocking on that door, you'll keep on selling.
Yep.
Why? Because the reason is beyond you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. Sometimes you look at the business and like, yeah, hey, maybe let me do a SWOT analysis. Yeah, what are my strengths and weaknesses? Are there opportunities and threats? Maybe there's a new competitor. Whoa. Whoa. Are you aware in this world there's enough for everyone? How many people thought there will be no space in the sneaker industry for anyone? Why? Because Nike, Adidas, Reebok, New Balance have taken over the space. And then a boy from Ivory Park, Likau Sukhwana, comes out with Drip. Changes the landscape of the sneaker industry in this country. Employs more than 300 people from a shack. There's enough for everyone. So stop worrying about where is your money. Start worrying about why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why?
That's good. My brother.
Kerato, I'd love to take the opportunity that I'm getting at ULP Authors Forum. Kalibitso ke Thabiso. So Thabiso le Thabo. Ka Senyesemane ke 21 ke happiness.
Say what's up, bro.
In fact, I have two questions. Question yaka ya qala. Okay, I'm a youth practitioner. I was doing youth development course. I'm the guy who loves assisting youth, developing youth, especially in via arts and culture, because I have an NPO. So, Rahlama questioning, sometimes I define Lokshin as a psychological prison. Because Racheka youth, illness, emotions that you're talking about. You talked about anger, depression, sadness, it's because we don't speak out, and then it don't go generational curse, because no babang youth apela, yete dintho tse petang, and then go high kapa skolong baria with dintho tse because ufutsitse mang maloma hae na tsuba maloma hae na rata banyana kaofela mantswahano. And then my first question, how do we break generational curses? That's my first question. My second question, Kore, yes, we can perceive that youth has this illness situation, this emotion about driving into substandard things such as drugs, substance abuse, and then we do youth development programs, but the same youth doesn't come. It's because there's no alcohol, there's empowerment only. They don't come at all. And then we see as youth practitioners, we see there's an illness that we need to heal. Just like you said, I'm a platform. And then we as youth practitioners, we are the platform. So we want to assist them, but they don't come. So I want a strategy or a method or an advice from you, because kumoshakele lapha and sifuna ukulungisa. Kodwa bona babuyi.
All right. Yeah, generational curse, I think we've spoken about. It's important that you know and understand your history. Generational curse is in the family. So those things happened for you. And what do I mean? In the example you gave, or no tuba, lo rata banyana and all of that, you then need to make a choice, a decision that you're going to do better. Immediately. Immediately. So when you see yourself going that way, you immediately say, no, not me. I'm breaking this thing. Right? A simple example. Let's say you come from a serial father who has kids everywhere. Are you aware when you make that decision, or I'm not going to be like him, that's going to be your ethos and that's going to be your formula going forward? Even how you choose your partner. And when you're supposed to consummate your relationship, the first thing you're going to say says, we use prevention. It's like, how? What different when Anjayini? Oh, I phone condom. Yeah, I phone condom. Oh. The reason being is because it becomes now your mindset. Because I don't want anything that's going to jeopardize where I'm going, the vision of where I'm going. So, in little steps, you immediately do that. So it means when there's a cigarette being smoked in front of you, even with the friends you like, should they try and pass it to you, you're going to say, no, that's not for me. Because I've made that decision already that I'm not going that route. You get it? That's how you break a generation. You do better than the generation before you. It's as simple as that. 2, they say you can drag it, right? A horse, a donkey. Now a man's pools. It's up to it to drink. You can do your best. That's all you have to do. Do your best. Encourage, inspire. And one way of inspiring people is not the circumstances they come from. It's where they are going. So those people, when you bring them into your program, the one question you must ask them, and it might be a starting point, what is it that is happening in your family that you don't want to see happening to you? Because you are forcing them to have a vision, to have something to look forward to. Right? Now, that becomes the objective that they must now start chasing through your program. It may be arts and culture. Maybe let's dance, let's paint, let's do this. But this is just a means to distract you from all the other ills that is happening in our society. I was born in Soweto. I was raised in Tembisa, Momashimong, Haufili Tariensu. My toaster, the notorious gangsters, I nearly became a victim of them. I'm coming from that era. I could have easily been one of them. I could have easily been recruited one of them. Right? So, as much as I'm from there, where am I now? It's not from where I come from, it's where I'm going. You must remember that. The fact that you are born in Tembisa is immaterial. It's for you. It's a trampoline. It is motivation. It is drive so that you can go further. Were you there by choice? Is that you who chose to be there? Did you choose the very parents that you were born from? No, but it's for you. From that environment, what are you going to do when? My same street in Mashimong, who knows Emmanuel Lidicha? Google the name Emmanuel Lidicha. The first black stockbroker in the JSE. Same street as mine. He had then 8 distinctions in matric. And then he had his own stockbroking firm. Still alive, from Tembisa. Still a shining example of what a township can produce. And there are so many. In Muriting, we have a nuclear physicist. Google them. So many shining stories. From where? On a good day, lebonela paraffin. And lebonela paraffin is because we asked for it because I was struggling with my eyes. I wore glasses for a long time. So lebonela paraffin was a little bit more lucent than candle. So paraffin and eberekiswa only for when we study. Am I not a chemical engineer? From where? Next time I can train at school. IFP. Remember the whole IFP thing before they made that truce, ANC? Yeah. From Naledi, Refitan Tanzania, Kiadubi. You don't care whether the train is moving, you jump. Because they'll kill you in the train. We survived all of that. But here we are. Living, telling a story, reading a book, writing a book. It's not where you come from. It's where you're going.
All right, we'll take a couple of questions from online.
Yeah. There's about 2 questions online that I see here. One is from Njabulo, but it's more of a comment than a question. Okay. Yeah, he says that I'm always interested. I think T-bose already touched on this. I'm always interested in the mindset of successful people, your daily psychology morning routine to get your peak and your daily winning for so many years. So more to phrase it correctly is about what are your daily routines and up until where you are today, and how did you stay that consistent?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and the second one, probably maybe you can just cover the 2 as well from Raymond. What advice you have for parents who want to break free from the patterns of their upbringing and create a healthier and more supportive environment for their children?
Let me start with that one. Simple, decide.
I know.
Decide. Yeah. Decide.
Make the decision.
Guys, decide. Make a decision and stick to it, which goes back to what? To self-discipline, right? I love wine. I enjoy wine. Red wine in particular. Right? And I buy and collect. So you can imagine, it's in my house. Right? I even build a beautiful wooden thing. You can put them there. I don't know when you come and visit, I said, let me show you my collection. I do that. Does it mean I must drink it every day? I can. It's mine. But you know what I've come to? A decision. I'll have a glass on Friday. 1, not 2. My body to this day rejects 2 glasses of wine.
Make the decision.
Decide. And stick to it. Yeah. How do you build trust? A simple example, and this one works every time. If you cheated on your girlfriend and she forgives you, how do you build her trust? You do what you said you would do. I get it? That's how you build trust. So you say something, and then you do it. I'm going to be here, and you are there. Over time, as you repeat that consistently, trust is built. So why don't you afford yourself the same love? If I'm saying, I am going to sleep, but I'm going to sleep at 10, wake up at 6, right? And you do that. And when I wake up, I'm going to do this. Do it. Like you said you're going to do it. Do it. Soon it becomes part of your routine. Yeah. Look at all successful people. They'll tell you, routine. Yeah. That they themselves designed. Now you don't even need to read biographies. I'm not saying don't, but you can watch documentaries. Have you ever watched the Bill Gates and Warren Buffett documentary on Netflix? It's there. Watch it. It's part of their routine. They go. There's a day they just go and eat burgers and Coke. Billionaires. And we ask them why. It's the childlike thing. Yeah. It's the most fulfilling thing. Yeah. It's their reward. From there, they back to work. I'm saying it's those little things. Yeah. Then the more you do them, but consistently, that form part of your discipline. Yeah. To a point now, should I be at work? My show starts at 9, but I'm at work at 7:30. My contract says I must be 30 minutes before my show. So my contract says I must be there at 8:30. I'm there an hour and a half earlier. Why? I like preparing. I like knowing what's going to happen. That's me. Do you know when I'm late, let's take it 20 to 8, you know they call me. Where are you? What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm like, guys, it's an hour and 20 minutes before my show. Why are you calling me? Why? My consistency has already taught them. Yeah. This is how he does things.
Wow. I love that. One of the things I love about...
One more on the floor.
Okay.
Or you want to cover that?
No, let me cover this and then we'll go there. One of the things I love about the ULP and Prof is that he's a global thinker. And we've got viewers from the Netherlands.
Oh.
So from the Netherlands, Raymond, it says he thanks our CEO, Theo, for sharing the link. Are the books available for sale there, my brother? I need 6 books signed, if possible. Please share your account number. And I will transfer the funds tonight. We'll probably reflect tomorrow. So we've got viewers from the Netherlands, but I think they're getting so much value.
Thank you.
So already 6 are sold, and I believe many more will be sold. All right, we can go to our next question, Mato.
Oh, hello. My name is Thabo. I'm also a chemical engineer. I like that. I was just going to ask more about the book. Just a simple question, nothing complicated. Why? Why did you write the book? What? You spoke about purpose. I assume, I don't know. Let me not assume. Why did you write the book, and what were you hoping to achieve?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for asking that, because maybe that's where we should have started, but
it's my last question.
Oh, there we go. You see, a chemical engineer. I say we, as in us as a black people, we have a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, pearls. However, we hardly share them or hardly document them. They are shared orally, like Prof. alluded to earlier. We hardly put anything down. That's the first point. Number 2 is that most of what we were taught by warning rather than by lesson. Warning, Uska, don't, hey, touch a boy. And then later, she's singing, Kandu nyala ning. You said I mustn't touch boys.
Yeah.
You are taught via warnings than lessons. And I'm like, wait a minute. I think we are the most race/people that operate from fear than any other because of how we were raised. How about have a book that empowers a teenager in grade 10, as early as grade 10, to know how this world works? Because the principles are the same. How about we write a book that a single mother can give to her son and daughter because they are missing a male voice about the workings of the world? How about we write a book that says, hey, I wish I knew this, but now that I'm raising kids and they are now clever and they can read, let me buy them a copy each. Maybe from this we can start having a conversation about life, about the workings of life. This is a conversation starter, conversations we should be having, but we are not.
Ramato, any more questions from the floor?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thabo, I think on the book, excuse me, you touched on something very important, especially on the first part, where you talk about, not disappointing your parents. I remember you spoke about choosing the course that you wanted. At one stage, you had to make a decision, either going for engineering or alternatively going for radio. How did you go through that? Because, we live in a society where we disappoint our parents all the time. And how did you actually go through that and overcome that? Because, disappointing my parents is easy. I, for one, I'm afraid of doing that. I'm raised by a single parent. And I also don't want to disappoint my wife, who's also here as well, because it's important. Those are things that you want to, make sure that you keep intact. How did you overcome that situation?
Thank you. It starts with you and acknowledging the fact that you don't want to do it. It starts there because it means your wife, your mom, very important people to you. I'm raised by laborers who, if I went to them to ask for a pair of sneakers, they'll say no. An hour later, I go and ask for a textbook, they'll give me the money. And chances are it's the same price. So immediately, I knew what they valued more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me to drop my course when they are paying from their own pockets, I didn't have a bursary. When they are paying from their own pockets, that would have been an insult. I felt I would have dropped them. Yes, they would have supported me. I'm their child. But the disappointment is one thing I think I couldn't bear. Yes, there are moments where even that moment as well rose me to say, maybe you shouldn't relax, Baba. Eh? Are you aware there are bursaries out there? Have you ever tried? And that's when I woke up and tried and worked. But I knew it was not just about education. It's about me having tools to survive this world. Because education, it gives you that foot in the door. So finishing it gives them rest to say, he's better than us. He can do anything now. We have educated our child. He can now face the world. So it was beyond me, right? It was really for them, so that they can achieve also their goals. Some will say, maybe they were living vicariously via you, right? No. It's important. And it goes back to the values that we just spoke about earlier on. If you commit, submit. Do it. See to the finish line, right? And I wanted to do that because it's such a great value/trait that then drives everything you do. You never leave things half done. You finish them because you've already learned that. When the opportunity, I talk about it as well in the book, when the opportunity, let me show you for those who haven't read it. When the opportunity to work at Y came, right? Remember I was here, remember NCP, Clorcam here, Clorcop, I was working there. They're like, we like what you're doing as a junior technician, engineer. Swal, here's an offer for you to stay. Right? YFM, I stood for the whole day under the stand, little DJ Fresh, for auditions.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know what happens, got pop idols, exactly what happened. The whole day. They're like, no, we want you on air, but only on weekends.
Yeah.
How? I thought I'm going to get a Monday to Friday gig. They offer me 3,000 rands for a weekend gig. Claude Cam says, here's 12,000 rands. Which one did I take? The 3,000. Now I must go face my mother. I've got 2 offers. I took this one. Yes. She was so upset. But she saw something in me. I said, this boy knows something I don't know. And that's what I'm saying. There's something about motherly love, something about parental instinct that says, let him. In 3-4 months, I was making close to 12,000 rands.
Wow.
So, the knowing is not something that just switches on. Is what you have done to earn the trust of your parent to make the decisions that you need to make. Do you see what I'm saying? Because by the time you come to that decision or to that crossroad, they already trust you to see through anything. You know. So for me, I think it was easy then for them to see what I really mean what I mean, because I saw through everything else.
Awesome. We've got a comment here. It says, Tembisa produces heroes.
Wow.
It's from Tsofa Bila, and it says, it's so good. They enjoyed the conversation. It says, I wish I could attend. We've got many more coming. Please come to Ofato. Any more questions from the floor? Yeah, got a hand at the back there. We are almost at a closing. So we're going to take at least 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Sure, Prati.
Stand up, please.
Oh, sorry. Disclaimer first, I think I'm a fan, Chief. I remember in the times of Metro FM, we used to listen to you all the time.
Yeah, thank you.
When Miss Mokwele was still a newsreader, I think.
Yeah.
There's a song that I love by, I forgot the name, it's Ideal World. I think you love it a lot.
Yeah. Regina. Yeah. Oh, Brenda Russell. Yeah.
Brenda Russell.
That's right.
Yeah. No, you guys are an epitome to us as black young people. I think you and your wife have epitomized what is a black family should be. I think it must be applauded.
Thank you. Because
Tina, who grew up without dads, I think the first thing as a young man that you want to have is a proper family. So when we looked at you guys, we saw something beautiful. That is a decorum. That is where I want to be in future. So well done to that. I think you have motivated quite a lot of guys.
Thank you.
Some that you don't even know. I also come from Tembisa. I was born in KZN. And yeah, Tembisa does produce great men. Yeah. So I'm with my friends here. So we share something we share something in common, which is, it's a very sensitive topic, but I think because you touched on your son, that you had to agree that I've made a mistake, then I will own up to it. Which it was not a mistake. I think it was a blessing. It was a mistake because it was not right at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was a blessing. So now we've got something in common, which is we are young men who are married, which is good. But then you go to a marriage, then you find that a wife has got a child. It's not a bad thing because we have accepted that. Because you wouldn't marry a woman whom you know, then you find out you know. No. Got a child, then we accept it. Then you find out later on that the child is growing up, you incur that responsibility and everything. But then the child wants to be with the father. Mm-hmm. Mind you, at that time, you have done everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, love, finances, grooming, nurturing, you can name it all. Umpem was not there. I didn't raise the child because, yeah, Umpemu was not there. You know. So now you find at a later stage that the child now wants to know amaruthu wakhe ukuthi uphuma kuphi, which is correct. I think it's very difficult, and we are in this together. I'm not saying we are at that level.
Yeah.
We are in this together. Just ngicela ucomment kulokho, because I don't want to use the word such as ivezandlebe, because this is Zulu but ivezandlebe, which is a very patriarchal or misogynist words to use. I think, imagine when unomntwana today, we engineer. Had you said, I'm going to a marriage right now and uzokhulusa bomalume ngabe ukuphi? Nowhere. So just comment on that. Ukuthi, how then to deal with such things that may come tomorrow? How to prepare us as men, especially those ones about, hey, I saw my friend or I saw my brother going through that. If you have a child, kiyabonga.
Ithi ngikuphendule ke bhuti. Yabona ngitshintshe nendlela engihlele ngayo. Ya, ngisela kancane ukuthi ngisuku. Manje angifuni ukukudelela ethi ngokuhlonipha ngihlala phansi. I talk about it in the book, that very scenario, by the way. It's called blind spot. A blind spot is something you don't see. That's why when you go for a K53, they teach you to check your blind spot. Because should you change a lane without checking your blind spot, you might crash.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And the blind spot is uncomfortable because you must be still steering straight but checking. And I say in that, when I say something to you, not knowing the unintended consequence of my words, it's a blind spot. Yazi ngiyakuthanda, but that but.
Yeah. Speaks volumes.
You are saying something you wanted to say, sure, but that but. Ayisahlalanga ngamnandi. Ubaba wami but. Do you get what I'm saying? I also say in the same chapter, I say, when a son says to a man who has raised him, who's my father? Uthini lo mntana? Uthini? And then I come back to, if you commit, you must submit. It's your project. It is happening for you, not to you. When there's no love without sacrifice. Akekho umuntu ozongitshela manje ukuthi uthanda umuntu without sacrificing something. Akekho. Akekho. When you truly love, whether lento uyahamba or ayihambi, uyithandile. Because love has no ownership. It comes back to the why were you doing it. Were you doing it because you want to say, ngamkhulisa lo mntana? Or were you doing it bomthanda? Because if bomthanda, you did everything you needed to do to point to this child. Does it hurt? Yes. But is the love stronger than the hurt? It better be. Okay then, remove it. I work from a premise that everything I do is for God's glory. I didn't raise this child for me. I was just but the vessel. I was just but a bow. This child was an arrow. My job was to stretch back so that this arrow can shoot. Where it lands is no longer my responsibility. is the arrow's responsibility. Whether it's going to hit the bull's eye, it is its own. And that arrow maybe one day will come back and say, I didn't hit the bull's eye because I pushed you too quickly to release me. I should have waited. I'm sorry. Or, Dad, I am what I am today because of you. Yeah. Right? I have 2 children before I got married. And one of the things my wife asked, this why and a brave woman, what do you want? What do you want? You have 2 children, you want to marry me, but what do you want? What's your vision? Said, my vision is for these children to be raised under the same roof. I want my children here. Says, do you know how difficult that is? I said, yeah, I know. So I'm going to try. I'm going to give it my best. And she did. One of the things that happened was, in one of them, they realized, in my head, I'm the outsider, but in here, I'm a child. Because umntwana makazovakashela ubaba comes with whatever education they come with from a car. Right? Yep. And you give them what you give them. They go back there. Whether they are being poisoned or whatever, that's not my problem. My problem is how consistent are we in this house in giving this child love the way we know how to give love. The very child was the one to say, Angisafuni ukuyele. Yeah. Funa ukuhlala. Wow. Why? Ngumntana. Yeah. We didn't ask what kwenzakalani. That's not for us to know. Ngisho kanjalo kuwe bhuti. Ubaba, it ends there. Your role will forever stand. The only thing must keep you up at night is you must ask yourself why you did it. And if you didn't do it for love, you did it for recognition, hey, unenking. But if you did it because uthanda umama wakhe ngale ndlela, then you will see the fruits of it. It will come. It is not for your glory, by the way. But when that day comes, you'll be the one who's glorious.
Couple of comments from online, from our CEOs, also from Tembisa. Says, this is me, and I agree with this guy speaking. Tembisa produces amazing people. I represent a Tembisa fan. Yeah. He says, I go brine meet next to T-bose's house there. So a bride is already being organized by your house in Tembisa.
Oh, lovely. Oh, yes, there's my career today. Yeah.
And then he says, Bratsepo, our CEO, is also has roots in Tembisa. And then there's a comment from Thabo Malepe. She said, this is lovely. She's enjoying the conversation. And then on YouTube, Neo Mahoko, if one day we wake up with President T-bose now. But if will parties what? But if one day we wake up with President T-bose as the country's president, what is the one thing that he would change?
This one is a very simple one. You see, the problem with our politics is that we've given too much power to politicians. We're forgetting that they are representatives. Yeah. And the quickest way to learn how politics work, go to shining examples of them. My favorite city in the world, or should I say country, is Dubai. The United Emirates shows you what's possible. Okay, let's bring it home. King Molotlekhi Wabafuke. Small community. What did he do? He used the resources of his people for his people. He managed it for his people. He didn't do it for anything else. Because he knew he's a servant. Servant leadership is what's lacking. People have taken into the echelons of political positions as a career. That's why the term career politicians. That's why servant politicians are quiet, are dumped down. Right? It's like having a Mother Teresa in parliament. She will be shut down. The first thing you change is reminding people that they are the ones who are in power. You don't serve me, move. Then I'll put somebody who serves me well. Because yes, as a people, we need somebody to represent our interests, to guard our interests. But if they don't, remove them. Remove them. That's the first thing you change before anything else. That's my take.
100%. As we wrap up, if I were to call you Moruti Mokwele, I wouldn't be far off. And you know, interesting enough, Prof is also an ordained pastor for more than 30 years. So you can actually leave this room. We have powers internally here.
Oh, okay.
We can live here only Muruti, only T-bose.
Yeah.
You can live as Pastor Mokwele. But I was fascinated in the book. You did 6 theological courses.
Yes, I did.
Why did you choose to delve into that? I was interested.
I handpicked subjects, go South African Theology Seminary is an online institution. And I handpicked them purely because I have Muslim friends. And as you can imagine, when we're sitting and the subject of faith is on the table, it's fire.
Yeah.
They always sharpen their faith or knowledge at least by reading. They know what they're talking about. And one day I got the question, why do you believe? I couldn't answer. I gave, answers because I have words. But I could tell I'm bluffing. I didn't have the core of it. And I said, you know what? Being the scientist that I am, let me study this thing. I know God exists, but what is it that in His Word reveals more of Him? So there's science to it, hermeneutics, you name it. The one I enjoyed was apologetics, because it's about the defense of religion. I studied all of that, and I was like, wow. The works of faith, like, wow. Now, it now reveals, it peels the Bible, the verses for what they are. Because as you can imagine, the Bible was written in different language, different years ago. How do you bring it today to make sense today? What tools do you use? It teaches you all of that. Now, I can sit at the table. For me, it was really more about, I must be able to sit at the table. And says my Muslim friend, well, Christ is Lord. And it's like, yeah, but I'm like, no. Here's my, defense or assertions based on this and this and this and this and so on. And then our relationship even became more richer.
Wow.
Because now there's an equal sitting there, we believe, because we're told, believe, this is you. But how many of you, with all this Google, with all that information we have really gone into, Raymond, wait a minute, what is this thing? Not because you're questioning your faith, no, because you want to know more about your faith. There's a difference. Questioning and wanting to know more, 2 separate things. Get in, dig in, and then listen to others, how they unpack simple verses. My favorite is Bishop T.D. Jakes, takes one verse of a Bible, one, and gives you an hour, 30-minute sermon, and it leaves you, you're blown away. He's the man who made me love Romans 8:28. Yeah. Because I realized, wait a minute, this guy has brought out something that Paul said within context, applying it to my day today. Yeah. All things happen for the good of those who believe. And he says, wait a minute, pause. You see what I did there?
Plug.
All things for the good. Wait. And that's T.D. Jakes. Right? All means everything happens for the good. Why only good? Not why all things happen for all things. Why only good? So this all it means, all things, all the good, all the pressures, all the stresses, all the things you are going to go through, as long as you believe, you'll see the good. They happen for you. Do you understand it now?
Umrud.
It's deep now. It's deep now. Right? So all the temptations, all of these things that happen to you. And I was like, wait a minute, where is this again? You go to Stoicism, the philosophy, is there? John DiMartini writes about it in the Breakthrough Experience. He says, are you aware in life everything is balanced? The good and the bad happened at the same time for you. You started there on a high, you ended on a low. You didn't end on a low, you ended on a zero. You meet somebody praising you, hey, you look great, man. Hey, yeah? How many of you have ever been blessed, but that blessing brought a crisis? You bought a car, you are happy, but it brought a crisis. How? Now I must transport people every day. That's a crisis. Blessing, crisis. Put them together, all things. The good and the bad happen for what? For the good.
Oh. Prof, I think as we close, I think Bratsepo, yes sir.
I had to do this. If you guys listen to Bratibo's show, he always gives you the 3 teaspoons. There might be 2. So here's a scenario. We all came here, all of us, with a cup. The venue, the facility, they boiled water for us. Then they put the tea bags. There's one thing that we all observed in this discussion. So now, in reference to the book, pause. What are the 3 teaspoons in bullet form? I don't want to waste your time. 3 teaspoons, then we can take away and sip the tea so that it can internalize all the discussion and the topics that we had. The 3 teaspoons from the book. We came here with a cup. They gave us water, boiling water with tea bag. Now Prati needs to give us the 3 teaspoons. I know it's a lot, but for today, we're going to take 3 teaspoons.
I'll give you 4.
4, here you go.
I wrote this book in 4 parts. And it's all about you, by the way. First part is about you and choices, the choices you make. Right? And one of them, like we spoke about, do the time. Part 2 is you and others. You and the relationships you have. Be it friends, be it family. Right? And in here, I even talk about things like, you are not this all the best, the Romans 8:28 thing. It's there. Part 3 of the book talks about you and love. And the story I told about the guy who went to the village, Handuto Tulangwana, it's part of Face Your Music. It's there, right? And part 4, it's you and God, right? And those are the 4 things that I feel, at least, we can add more, but I think this, for me, are the 4 corners of a table that just settles you to like, I think I kind of get what life is about. 100%. So those are the 4, I think, should at least inspire you to get this book, read it. I'm not saying read it cover to cover. It was not written as a cover to cover book. You can actually do this and land on a chapter and then read it. And who knows, it might hit you that day. The next day, or even if it doesn't hit you, you're like, hey, man, that chapter, that day, today I experienced, no, let me read it. So that's them. So those are the 4 teaspoons.
So I know, as we close, I know we've been discussing pause, but I want to thank you for pressing play. Thank you for playing such a meaningful role in this country, for inspiring so many people in so many different spheres. And I want us as a group, can we just stand up and honor Dr. T-bose?
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Can we say awesome? Awesome. That was really great. You may be seated. For our Confidence, thank you very much. That was really amazing. And can you give a round of applause to Confidence? That's awesome. And lastly, you can give a round of applause to yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And this is Unleashing Leadership Potential, and it's great to have you for joining us online, and for those who came here, it's really great to have you here. I just have a few announcements, and then we'll close. So the first one is, as we mentioned, can we just get it up on the board? Yeah, there we go. ULP Professional Moms. It's happening on the 24th of June from 10 o'clock up till 2 o'clock. And the topic or the discussion will be around parenting teens, okay, teenagers. And so please do come through, share the message, ask people to come through. And our patron, Meshalot Mokwele, would be here, and Futim Toba, and we will be having also other guests that will be coming through. And our leader in this particular space, Kolim Kwanazi, she's also going to be here. It's really going to be amazing. You don't want to miss this date. Just come on the 24th of June. Have you diarized it? Uh-huh. Please put it there, put it in a diary, and then put a reminder to make sure that you don't miss this one. And do share it with other people. The other thing I wanted to talk about is we've got a great, exciting news. Mutually Collaborate is back this year, and we've got great partnership with, we can clap hands. And when you do good things, good people also want to associate with you. And this is really great because we partnership with Old Mutual. And this year, again, we're starting again with Mutually Collaborate. And we'll be doing great stuff together with Old Mutual. And great thank you to the teams at Old Mutual that we're working with. Ausnuguzola, Austebucho, and for really walking the journey with us. This is really amazing. So I just wanted to remind you the programs that we're going to have as part of the Mutually Collaborate we'll be having in June already on my birthday, on the 6th of June, we'll be having a leadership, is it July? Sorry. Okay, my boss wrote the wrong date here. Flip, it's not on my birthday, it's the next month. So, on the 6th of July, we're having a leadership conversation, and we'll be talking about transformation. So you really don't want to miss this. We'll be having great speakers on that particular day. You don't want to miss this. We've got one of the big guns here in South Africa that will be part of that session. We'll also be going to be having think tanks, and we also be launching an entrepreneurship program together in this program where funding will be provided for small businesses, and you want to come through so we can help you. Because I can tell you the truth, I'm running an entrepreneurship program where we see young people where they've got great ideas, but when they go for funding and they want money, they don't get it. And you don't get it because you don't know how to put that good proposal. You don't know how to draft this thing. And that's why some people have good ideas, but they're not seeing the light of day because you don't know how to navigate this. So we want to help you with that. So we'll be launching this program, and I encourage you to watch that particular space and talk to me. I'll put your name up for that particular program that's coming. So you don't want to miss that. So we'll be running that, and we'll be going around the country driving that particular program on the entrepreneurship program. So that will be great to have you guys joining that particular program. And lastly, I think, we're good. We do have, when I acknowledge people that are watching all over the place, I see Brapila is watching from Pakistan as well. Thank you, Brapila, and thank you for watching. And everybody that is really watching from all over the country and internationally, it's good to have you with us. So this has really been a great session. I really enjoyed. T-bose, I almost wanted to request a song right there, you know. You know, I almost said, can I have a dedication right there? But it was really an awesome day, and I really enjoyed the talk, and I've got lots of nuggets that I took today. It's really been amazing. And I just wanted to say, as we close, our country might be in a dire state that we are in, but it's us who can make that difference. It's not the government. It's us that needs to rise up. It's us that needs to be that voice of reason. It's us that needs to rise up and do good wherever in that little corner that you are in. And also smile when you see people. You don't know, you might make their day. Good evening and God bless.